hear about the furniture, Susan?
No.
No? Okay. All right.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me something. Come
Yeah, me
on, that
too.
was mean.
Sorry. Furniture suspense.
No, nothing. We have one rolling 1960s cart that we used as a desk.
There's Chris Brandt, our leader.
Hi, y'all. How you doing this evening?
Good, how are you?
Wow, we
Oh,
have
there's
our
Ashley.
our superintendent is here. How you doing, Dr. Menzel?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. And Patty, oh my,
Hi, Chris, how are you?
great to see you.
Good, thank you.
Wow,
Like Dancing with the Stars.
thanks for coming.
I'm excited to kind of kick this off and hear where you guys are and all the great things that you're doing. You know, all I get from my daughters is, come on, would you guys stop complaining so we don't have this much homework? So I like to know, and she of course means the board, not, you guys. So I like to hear from you all the wonderful things you're doing, especially with our brand new innovation center coming up and all the big plans.
I'm a mover. I'm moving things from, if I had the kids there, I could probably do it 10 times faster because I load a cart up and I drive it over and then I have to figure out where it goes. So I'm a mover, but I'm very excited. It's such a beautiful building and we're supposed to get the big CNC machine supposed to come on the 20th. So it's just going to come together. It's going to be an amazing place for kids.
Dr. Menzel, I can't wait till things are up and rolling and when our kids are back on campuses completely at some point that we can maybe take some cool video of you guys doing some things in there for like marketing and just really show, how innovative. And because I was impressed before the Innovation Center even happened when I did the tour and saw the kids in robotics and they were, of course, actually making things the day I was there. So I can't wait to kind of show our entire district all the stuff that you're going to be able to do and give them like kind of a sneak peek.
Yeah, well, we're excited. We're very happy.
You guys expecting a big group tonight? Do you know?
I would normally there's about 20 or 30 parents, and I would guess that it'll be a little bigger tonight, but I don't know. We'll see what the questions are.
Okay, but I do see Kristen on, Patty. So Kristen's on to ask her. Kristen, I thought for sure for a moment that Anne had your Michigan accent, so I thought she was you at first. And I asked her, you are teaching at ASU in person yet? I thought some people went back today. Did you, Kristen? Did you?
Yeah, well, I teach all online all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm very fortunate in that respect that I didn't have to adapt my whole class to move it. But yes, we've been teaching both in person, virtually in person, which is called ASU Sync, and then of course our regular online. And we did that this past fall semester, and then we're doing this in the spring semester. So, so faculty are on campus teaching. Sometimes there's 2 students in the classroom, and then the rest are virtually in sync with them online. But yeah, we're there and able to do that. So in fact, I talked to my colleague today and she was heading in and she said she had put on heels and she hadn't done so in about 6 months. So she was excited.
Well, it's so nice to see everyone. I think I might just wait maybe 1 more minute to just let people join. Danielle Davis, it's lovely to see you. It's been so long.
Thank you. It's so nice to see everybody. I'm looking forward to jumping back in, hopefully.
Yes, you'll have another daughter that's part of the program soon here, right?
I know. Yeah, she's actually very excited to come to Saguaro. So we're very excited, all of us. Even
Danielle,
Is she an
Mariana.
8th grader this year?
Danielle's older daughter is a freshman in college, and she and Lisa Erickson have been like the powerhouse of the Math and Science Academy for the last many, many years. So it's nice
Well,
to see
thanks for including me in that. So I appreciate that. Lisa's the real powerhouse. I just kind of help her out.
Oh my gosh. No, we are either Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or Laurel and Hardy or something. It's a yin and a yang, yin and a yang.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, I'm talking about the powerhouse from the parent booster perspective. Then we have our completely amazing Saguaro administrator powerhouse. So good to see you, Miss Limburg, Mr. Brandt, and Mr. Miller. Do we want to just let people quickly introduce themselves? I'll start. I'm Ashley McAndrews. I'm the president of the MSA Booster Board. So, and I have two daughters that are juniors in the MSA program. Kristen.
And Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Will. I have two daughters in MSA, a sophomore and junior, and vice president of the Booster Club.
I'm Katie Foster. I have a junior, Natalie Foster, who is in MSA, and my other one's graduated already. I'm the treasurer.
Hi, I'm Shanda Carruthers. I'm the secretary. I have Brody, who's a junior, and my daughter's in middle school. So, hi.
And then we have Melanie, who is not able to join us tonight. She takes care of our planning our socials, and she's put together some really great fundraisers and things like that for us this year. So,
And I'm Lisa Erickson. I was the prior president of the Booster Club for the last 4 years before Ashley was able to take over with her very capable self. And our daughter Kaylee is now graduated and over at Tufts.
Thank you. Those of you who are joining us, Dr. Menzel, we're so happy to have you here. I think we all know who you are. And Patty, thank you so much for joining as well. We're so happy to have you here. And we have Miss Oxiger here tonight. And I think Mr. Milligan is here tonight as well.
I am, thank you.
Yeah, and then I see Miss Pena. And then of course our amazing teachers. Hopefully everybody knows who they are, but do you want to just give a quick introduction, Miss Limburg and Mr. Miller and Mr. Brandt?
Okay, I'm Chris Brandt. I am the guy who works with the juniors and seniors mostly, the distinction coordinator, and I work with Susan Lindberg. Tell them about you, Susan.
Okay, Susan Lindberg. I am one of the Math and Science Academy coordinators in charge of the events.
And Ray.
Ray Miller. I get to teach the Algebra 2 honors cohort classes, and then I also work with the 9th and 10th grade in the cohort and work on the math side of things.
Thank you. So we're so happy to have everyone here tonight. MSA is what brought us to Saguaro, and since we've been there, we've realized it's just not the MSA that's amazing, but the whole community, the administration, the support that we've gotten has been incredible. As a family that's new to, we didn't come up through Mojave, but you know, from just the very beginning, we kind of felt like we were at home. So it's been really great, and it's been neat to be a part of. So I'm just going to kick it off with and just start getting to business and going through the agenda, if that's okay with everyone. The first thing I wanted to talk about was upcoming events, and we have Sisters in STEM that is coming up, and that will be on January 22nd. And normally that's this huge, incredible event on campus in the evening, and we have tons of young girls and boys that come and attend. We have robotics demonstrations and science experiments and all kinds of things that they get to be a part of. We're working, well, I'm not working hard with this, Miss Limburg and some of our students are working very hard to pull this off online this year. So Miss Limburg, would you like to speak a little bit to Sisters in STEM and what it's going to comprise this year?
Sure, I will. And let me share my screen while I'm talking. And oh, can I share my screen?
Just a minute, Susan. Let me see if I can. Not allowing me to.
Okay, that's fine. I was just going to share my the Sisters in STEM flyer, which is on Peach Jar right now, advertising our Sisters in STEM. It's been sent to 31 schools. It's already had 200. This is a little bit older, a couple days old, but at 262 views, and 110 kids had already signed up. So we're looking for a great event. Natalie Foster has been working diligently to train kids. She's training kids all this week on different events. So there's going to be 6 breakout rooms with biology, chemistry, math, environmental science, physics, and engineering. And the kids will teach a little bit about the subject, and then the participants will do some little activity. And then Dr. Flanagan, we have a guest speaker, Dr. Flanagan, who works with NASA, and she has been working with the James Webb telescope, which is going to replace the Hubble telescope, which is soon to be retired. So that's pretty exciting. And yeah, like that.
Little quick background, because Susan understates the work that they've been doing regularly. This event is probably the one thing that I've seen over the years that has helped to draw in the parents out of district. I mean, when I talk with parents out of district, the first gate that they come in through often is the SIS event, either themselves coming or hearing about it from other people. The school made the very tough decision to go ahead and hold the event in this remote environment, which is not going to be easy. We have the good fortune of having experienced this already with the CyberSys work that we're doing, the work we're doing to train young girls and boys in cybersecurity, which we do remotely live. But it's a huge undertaking for the kids to do this in a remote environment. So we're very proud of them, very grateful that they're putting this effort in. It's going to be amazing. We're finding that this may give us reach nationally. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but we have some opportunity because it's remote now to potentially pull in people from across the country into the event, which is very exciting for us. So tremendous kudos to Susan and Natalie and the rest of the team for pulling this together.
Thank you, Lisa. And I want to apologize and recognize that there are 2 other board members on here. I can only see one screen, and I know that Patty Beckman is a Saguaro parent, and I knew you were coming. So, but I understand there are 2 other board members on here. They're on my second screen, I guess. Would you mind introducing yourselves? No. Are there, Patty?
They were coming. They may be muted. I know Julie
Yeah.
Kanowski said she was coming, and so did Dr. Hartwells. Are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
I see both of their names. Hi,
Hi,
Dr.
can you hear
Hartwell is
me?
here and Julie is here.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can
Okay,
hear you.
great. Well, sorry, new computer here. Apologies. Hello, everyone. It's very exciting. I love everything you're doing.
And then we have maybe somebody else who's,
Julie, are you on? Can you say hello?
oh, Julie, I see her name. Okay, so maybe she can't hear us right now. Yes, I see her name. She's on my second screen. Okay, so so that's what's happening with Sisters in STEM. And again, hopefully everybody that's part of this call has been able to be there in person, because it's really, really incredible. And I think that it'll be great this year. I ask everybody to also attend next year when we can actually be on campus, and it's really something to see. So, and then in addition, I was just hoping that Mr. Brandt and the upcoming events, if you could give us a quick update about the PSAT, which is a big deal because it's scheduled just as we're supposed to be coming back to school. So crossing fingers that everything goes okay there.
Okay, I could do that, but if Katie Pena's here, I'll let her do it since she's actually the one who runs the thing. I did go into her today and get the rundown just so I could do this, but I see Katie, you're here, so why don't you go ahead and take that?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. We have the PSAT coming up on January 26th. And kind of what was mentioned, it's the week after we come back in person. So it's kind of a quick turnaround getting into routines and everything. But right now, all of the sophomores will take it as they usually do. We have the tests already ordered for them. And the juniors who registered to take it this year, there are 72, I believe. So they will be taking it as well. We're going to follow a normal PSAT schedule. So, you know, if you have older students or anything, it's testing from 7:45 until about 11:15. At that point, we'll collect the tests and we'll have any students that need to bubble, which would be our juniors because we're coming back so fast, stay a little bit later. Just to get from college and scholarship information and that kind of thing. So if you have a junior who registered to take the PSAT, plan on them staying about 20-25 minutes later than everybody else, bubbling for the scholarship information. It's a lot fewer juniors than it has been in the past, but all students, whether they're in person, EDL, SOL, we're testing all of our kids who are our homeschool kids and normally registered at Saguaro.
Okay, I just want to remind the parents that the math teachers will be telling their students what calculator they should bring or which ones are legal to use. And
we'll also be sending that in a dialer. And we're going to send the approved calculators in the dialer and to the students' SUSDG apps.
Right. And they need to get there early because they need to find their spot. Their room will be listed, so they find their name on a list and then they go to the room. So they don't get there right when it's time for the test to begin. Get there early, about 15 minutes.
Yeah, so the test itself has to start after 8 o'clock. That way everybody has enough time and can get through the test. So normally we ask kids to show up between 7:30 and 7:45. But not all kids are on campus to check the list to see where their testing room is. So if you have an EDL student or a SOL student who's going to be testing, please make sure they're there a little bit earlier. That way they can check the window of the front office to find out what their testing room is.
Thank you. I have a quick question about ACT, just because I received an email about signing up for the ACT in February. I just wanted to clarify that all juniors are already signed up for the ACT on the Saguaro campus. Is that correct?
Yeah, so any junior that is registered at Saguaro will be taking the ACT at Saguaro.
Okay, so we don't need to do anything with that email that came out about registering. That would be maybe for people who aren't juniors.
Want to retake it, correct.
Okay. Thank you. Does anybody else have questions about the PSAT or the ACT? And if I end up missing something in the chat, someone please just feel free to shout it out there.
Hey, Ashley, we have another board member who I'm not sure we introduced. We have Jan Michael with us. If he'd like to introduce himself.
Yeah, sorry, apologies for the late coming in, I'm just busy, but Jan Michael Greenberg, glad to see you all here and I'm glad to be joining. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you so much. And I see that Julie, it looks like you figured out maybe some of the issues you were having with your computer and you're here as well. But it's your audio.
There we go. Hello. Hi all. I'm actually using the SUSD laptop issued to me, so this is all new technology. It's fun. Thank you for doing this. You guys this is a great program for kids, so I really appreciate being part of this.
It's nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. So if there are no further questions about the PSAT and the ACT.
Well, it looks like there's a question about the ACT in the
Oh,
chat.
thank you. It's in the chat. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The ACT, all juniors in SUSD are registered and it's paid for by SUSD. So if you have a junior student needing to take the ACT, you don't have to do anything to register for it. Just show up on the day of the test, which is March 2nd this year.
Thank you.
Chris, are we, you guys probably already went through this before, but we are going to go ahead and help the kids to study ahead, I'm assuming, like we've done in other years for these tests?
We did a like a PSAT prep thing. It's been about a month and a half, 2 months ago that we did a Zoom thing for them. I don't know that we were planning on doing another Zoom thing. I mean, we certainly can if the parents think that that would be beneficial. In the past, we have done practice tests with them, and we brought them in, and then we said, here's the practice test, and the physical practice test, and we took them through the whole procedure, and then we got them together in groups, and they went over the answers. Difficult to do in a Zoom setting. So what we did this year was we went over the site with them, showed them where the practice test was, showed them where the answers were, talked about them printing it out at home and doing that themselves. We can do more if you think that would be valuable. We can do another Zoom type thing, but we don't get back to the 19th, and it's 1 week later, so I don't see an in-person thing happening at this point. But if there's a request to do another thing, if the students want that and the parents want that, we will make it happen.
Yeah,
Well, and we did receive the student study guides today. So I would say if there are any juniors who want to pick up a study guide, we can make those available. I hesitate to offer the study guides to the sophomores solely because of all the traffic that'll be coming trying to pick them up. But if anybody wants to pick up a study guide, just reach out and we'll make sure we have them readily available at the front office for you.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. I mean, everything that you guys have done so far is obviously always tremendous with this. And Chris, I was thinking both this PSAT and then looking forward to the ACT. I'm hearing so much from families that the kids are struggling in such a unique way this year that I don't know. I think maybe the right thing to do is find out if people would like to do something more for the kids. But I can tell you that what I'm hearing is, kids drowning in the ways that they are, and anything maybe that we can do to help them feel just a little more confident as they step in might be a good idea, if there's time. I don't know if there's time.
Lisa, can I ask a question, you guys? How do we get information out to like the MSA parents specifically and broader, just on, we know the dates, I know it's coming up, but on this, like the study materials, like how do we let them know that if they would like a study guide, where other resources are, etc.? Because I know so many families willing to help and step in. They just need to know where to go.
As far as study guide and that kind of thing goes, we just got them today. So there will be an email that goes out to all sophomore and junior families tomorrow. It will have the study guide pickup information, as well as test day information about arriving early to check the roster and, that kind of stuff. So it will be going out tomorrow to everybody in 10th and 11th grade, both guardians as well as student GAPS accounts.
Yeah, and as far as how we communicate this, in the broader perspective, one of the things that we've found over the years that, and this is the feedback we get from the parents and the students too, there's this kind of fine line between giving the kids agency to manage their own stuff, which is really important in these high school years, and yet making sure that, we're all there to support them to get the job done. So typically what seems to work best is we have the school approach the kids. And then at some point with these big events, obviously Chris and Susan and Ray and so on, they will contact their different grade levels and reinforce for them that these resources are available. And then we in the MSA generally send a note out to the parents as sort of a backup to let them know that this is out there. So we're trying to hit it 3 ways because we don't want to lose anybody. And especially this year, the last thing we want is to see any kid, just by chance of them, you know, perhaps not being as organized as they might be in other years, missing an opportunity to study and be ready for these things. So, you know, we try to hit it 3 ways, I guess.
From a parent, from the booster parent organization perspective, as you know, Lisa just touched on. So in addition to having the meetings each month, we have a Facebook page now where we post the minutes, and they would include all the information that we're talking about. When we have fundraisers, when we have upcoming events, when we have things like that going on, we send that information out as well. So the booster board, that's the one that comes from the emails that you get that come from Saguaro MSA. And then of course, there are a number of emails that come out as well from Ms. Lindbergh that go to the students that all the parents are copied on in addition. So does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
Okay, great. Something else just popped up in the chat. Let me just make sure it's not about testing. Oh, great. We have a free ACT prep link in the chat. So for anyone who's interested in copying that. And Shonda, would you mind putting that on our Facebook, that link on our Facebook page as well, the MSA Facebook page? That'd be great. Thank you.
Yep, definitely.
Pardon me? Oh, maybe someone wasn't talking to me. Okay. And then one more upcoming event that I think there was some chat about as I hopped on just before the meeting got started was about the opening of the Innovation Center, which the ribbon cutting was absolutely incredible. Of course, the kids are excited to get in there. So Mr. Brand, would you like to talk a little bit about the Innovation Center and how that's all going?
Okay, so we're getting more equipment every day. We're awaiting the furniture and the students. As soon as we have all the furniture and the equipment in and everything, then we're going to do some kind of open house, possibly where we open it up over a number of days and allow families, individual families, to sign up for times, 10 minutes or so to go through it. That way we can just have some distancing and just the families one at a time. So we're excited to do that. We want to show it to the community, but we want to have it ready before we really show it to the community. We did the ribbon cutting to show the building, you know, to those people who were directly involved in making it happen. But we will wait to do a grand opening until it's really ready to go, and we can, you know, show everyone all the amazing equipment and stuff that the Farley Foundation and the Charos and the Fiesta Bowl and everything else have provided for us, which we still receive today. We just received more stuff. So every day we receive something.
Hey, Chris, a quick question for you. I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot here. I would, but, and still, I mean, I was just there about a week and a half ago and there for the ribbon cutting, and families, everybody that's here, this thing is going to be amazing. When you get the chance, you got to see this. It is beautiful. It is going to be one of the best facilities in the entire valley. The vision, everything is fantastic. And we on the board cannot thank the SUSD board enough for the support to make this happen. But to put you on the spot here, Chris, you know, you're right. There was no furniture in there, and you know, we're not going to be able to get what we need out of this thing without that. Do you know the timeline for the furniture?
I do not have the timeline yet. The furniture comes from facilities. They have they're going to purchase some really amazing stuff for us. We're going to have rolling whiteboards. We're going to have rolling tables in the classroom where they flip up and can be put to the side so the whole thing can be used. But I don't have a timeline on that. I don't know whether there's a back order on it or what's going on, but I will contact Dennis Railer and see if I can get a timeline and let you guys know.
Yeah, that's, you know, and again, as a parent, I mean, a parent of a graduated student, I get it. But at the same time, I'm just so anxious to see this thing actually be able to be used. I mean, we need this kind of a positive message. If it looks like there's an issue with getting the furniture, I mean, it could easily be that it's just delayed the way these things happen. Let us know. And if we can be a support in, I don't know, even getting used furniture or something in there so you can use the facility, let us know, okay? We'll see what we can do.
Well, thank you very much. We will start, we're hoping to start as soon as we return to campus after on the 19th. We actually will start to use the facility with some of the robotics kids. And Kristen Will gave us the protocol for kids working closer than 6 feet that they're using at ASU, and we plan on having the kids use N95 masks with shields and gloves so that they can actually get in there and work on projects, you know, as the same as the ASU people are doing in the labs. And so we're very excited to get the kids in there. That's, you know, they're very excited to get in there.
Chris, can I just say, I'm sorry, it's virtual world. I just completely interrupted you. I just want to give a shout out because SUSD, Dr. Menzel actually did purchase us all of the furniture for the Innovation Center. If you were one of those administrators that went through a rebuild back when I was an administrator at Mojave, we had to use all of our current furniture. So we all got these brand new beautiful buildings, and then we put our old furniture back in these brand new buildings. And Dr. Menzel did not want that to happen to the Innovation Center, so he actually purchased the furniture for the Innovation Center. That furniture is coming. It has been ordered. And I do know we're waiting to hear back from Dennis and Chris. You have been phenomenal and following up. Unfortunately, you guys, I think, and I hate to say this to you, but due to COVID, we continuously hit some speed bumps, and I think that's what has happened. But that furniture is coming, and thank you to our governing board and to Dr. Menzel for not having us move our furniture from the old saguaro rebuild into the new Innovation Center. And so, which I personally as a minister experienced that. I'm like, we get a new build at Mojave and then I'm moving all my old furniture in. So it was so nice to hear the governing board and Dr. Menzel say, this is a new building for Saguaro and we will get you new furniture. You don't have to move your old stuff. It is a COVID situation where a lot of things have just been pushed back, but Chris Brandt is our hero and has just been following up continuously. And I know Dr. Menzel is following up as well, but that new furniture is coming. It is unfortunate. It's taking a little bit longer than we thought. We are very thankful for it, and we are following up, but it will come. So Lisa, we are not putting any old furniture in that new Innovation Center because I've already done that before, and the governing board and Dr. Menzel said that's not happening again. So thank you.
Yeah, you know me, Ann. I get impatient to see these incredible things go. I'm gonna, one way or another, we'll make sure that it happens. And as you say, we cannot thank the board, the SUSD board, enough for the support for all of everything that you've done for the center.
And can I add, I just got a text from Dennis and he said the original estimate was the furniture would come at the end of January. He's going to talk with AZ Furniture tomorrow to confirm whether or not that's still the case or when we can expect to have it, but he's on it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for all the work that you've done for that incredible Innovation Center. Next, we're going to have an update about all of our MSA clubs. And Ms. Limberg, if you wouldn't mind kind of running down the list there, and then Lisa, you can jump in and spend a little bit of time hopefully talking about Cyber Patriot, which is our really new and exciting club this year. So.
Okay, first of all, I want to say that our kids are amazing and they have adapted to doing clubs online. And they're just incredible. And all of these clubs are not just for the MSA, they're clubs for the entire school. And we always embrace everyone joining the clubs. It just tends to be that a lot of the clubs are kickstarted by the MSA kids and then put out for everyone else. So we have a bunch of different clubs going on now. We have the Science Bowl, which is being run by Miss Grice, and they're doing a virtual competition on February 13th, and that's kind of like a Jeopardy kind of thing. Science Olympiad, Miss Johnson, our physics teacher, they are doing 2 competitions. The first one is this Saturday, and we have 1 team competing there, and then they will go to a state competition, which I think will probably still be virtual. And robotics, we just did a kickoff last Saturday. The kids were pretty excited and to learn a new game. This time it's going to be all virtual, so there's several different things they can do. They can plan their, create their own game. They can do some at-home things where we can just video the robot doing some certain skills, etc. And we met today, and the kids are all broke up into teams, and they're getting started on those different initiatives. Also, the robotics, the VEX robotics team is working diligently at getting their robot up and running because they have a competition at the end of the month at Higley. So hopefully they'll be able to go. If they do get to go in person, it'll only be a couple of kids, and then the rest of them can watch via Zoom. Our robotics team is also hosting a Fall Lego League, virtual Fall Lego League. They've done this for years with Mojave, and that's on Saturday, February 20th. So they've been training on how to be judges and refs, etc. And Ben Nearing and Natalie Foster are heading up our robotics team. Both amazing kids, putting in a ton of time, and they're just incredible. And then we have our Cyber Patriots team, and they have their 3rd round of competition, which is also virtual, and that's going to be on the 23rd. And Jake Weiss, who is a freshman, has headed up that initiative, and he's just done an amazing job. He's put in hundreds of hours teaching kids how to do things. I sit in on all the meetings, and I've learned a lot, but I could never teach it like he does, and he's only a freshman, so I'm just amazed at what he's going to do when he's a senior. We have our spring event coming up, which is the STEAM Showcase, where we have our poster presentation for Math and Science Academy distinction candidates, and also that's an opportunity for our kids to show off their creative side. And that's set for April 24th in person, and if it's not in person, then we will have to go to on virtual, and we'll figure out how to do that. Before Lisa goes into some details about the Cyber Patriots and those opportunities, Mr. Miller, do you want to talk about our math competitions?
Yeah, we do have a few competitions coming up. February 6th is the Math League state qualifier. And Math League moved to virtual this year, so the students have the option of taking that at home if they can find someone to proctor them on a Saturday for the 4 to 6 hours, or they can come in. Hopefully we'll be open to where they can come in and take it with me. February 10th, we're doing the AMC 10 and the AMC 12, which is the competition that leads to the Math Olympiad team. That is a paper test, and hopefully we'll be doing that one at school. And then Math League, since they moved everything online, they've given schools the opportunity of doing a school competition just for that school. And so we'll set that up for early March.
Before I talk about the cyber stuff, to all the parents that are on here, I can tell you by the experiences both that we've had with with Kaylee and all the families that we know from the school. Anything you can do to help your kids to get involved in some of these clubs, do it. You know, the education is the bread and butter of what happens. But if you want your kids to stand out to a college, you need them to have these types of activities. Plus, it's going to teach them a whole lot about what they love. It's hard, I think, for freshmen sometimes to feel like they can plunge into these teams. I would strongly suggest that you go ahead and get them in something, even if it's just a little bit, and it hardly matters what it is, just something. Plus, it will give them that opportunity to make the connections with the other kids that, you know, sometimes it's hard to do, especially for STEM kids. They're not always very good at I know that ours weren't, or my son certainly wasn't. They're not very good at socializing. And this gives them a family. This gives them people, a community to share their loves of STEM and their creativity and so on with. And they learn a lot of social skills. So highly recommend it. It's everything that's happened for Kaylee, and everything has been amazing for her. It all drives from the clubs that she was in the Math Science Academy, every single thing. So highly, highly recommend it. I'm going to talk real fast about the cyber stuff, only because I know our parents really want to have the chance to talk with all our board members. This is such a wonderful thing that you all are doing for us to come and join us. But very quick history. Back about 1.5 years ago, when we created the our initiative called Sisters in STEM, which was driven out of our robotics community, some of the girls, 3 of the girls in robotics who were leaders, having a desire to showcase STEM to little girls so that girls could start to understand that they indeed can be a part of this, this amazing world of STEM. We had the opportunity not just to have the event that you've heard about already, that will be happening in another couple of weeks, but to spin a number of different activities off for the district. We had a math tutoring that we did for Tanalia. We created a girls coding club, a lot of different things. It helped our kids to understand that there's an empowerment that comes with sharing their joy of STEM with other students. And that sense of empowerment has bootstrapped so many activities that we now get involved in the Math Science Academy that I think we as adults have recognized that there's something that we didn't realize, that there's a wave happening right now. And the wave is something we can surf. We happen to have hit it just right, the way everything plays out. And so we're very lucky in that every time we come up with one of these new initiatives, Chris and Susan and Ann and Dan, they all say, hey, let's make it happen. So out of all of that, our students created a website. It's the SIS website. Matter of fact, we'll send any of you that don't have it, we'll send out the link to the website. Within that website, we talk about each of the initiatives that we do within Sisters in STEM, which include many, many different things. Some of them now in the cyber world. That happened because an individual from Northrop Grumman found our website, contacted us directly, and asked if Northrop Grumman could partner with us to create a series of initiatives around cybersecurity and cyber safety for young students. Endgame with that set of discussions, which was originally held with one of our students, was that Northrop Grumman said, we have all the technical capability in the world. We do not have reach into communities. You clearly have that engine going. We would like to, you can provide us something that we don't have. They've provided us funding, they've provided us knowledge, resources, anything that we need to start to deploy this out. They see us as the fulcrum for their desire to grow outreach within Arizona. We are the center for them of creating that activity because of the engine that we already had in place for Sisters in STEM. So that has led to 4 different initiatives. We have the Cyber SIS initiative, which is the remote training that we do for young kids, across the district. When COVID came along, we chose to go remote with that. Best decision we ever could have made. We understand how to teach remotely now, how to run programs remotely. And again, as I've mentioned before, this has given us the opportunity now to create the potential for outreach nationally. We also have a program with what's known as Cyber Patriot, which is teaching high schoolers how to engage in national competitions in the cybersecurity world. We now have, I believe, 4 teams in that. Kids are just loving that program. They're learning so much. This is giving them the opportunity to shine in that field. We'll have a new initiative called CyberGen that we're going to roll out sometime probably this semester, maybe into the summer next year, depends, which helps the elderly to become more cyber safe, to understand how to manage that. We also have a book program. 2 of our girls decided to create a children's book for kindergartners. It's called Jada Saves the Day, gets after cyber safety for little children. While all of that is going on, we recently were contacted by the New York chapter of Society of Women in Engineering. That group also found us through our CIS website and has offered their support, their resources, anything they can do to help us to grow this program both nationally and globally. They are wildly excited about what we're doing with all of our initiatives. So Susan, Natalie Foster, myself, and a couple of others, Kaylee as well, have been in discussion with that group. They're gonna take us to a level that we did not think we would achieve for another couple of years. They're interested in taking the Cyber CIS training program to a national level, possibly taking it global if we can. They would like to help us publish the book, create a series of children's books that run out of our, what we call our bookworm team, which is the team that generates these books. They're wildly interested in the CyberGen program. They don't know of anyone that's actually working that nationally right now. So what we see happening again, as we saw with Northrop Grumman about 1.5 years ago, is for reasons that surprise me, it seems that we're fairly unique out there and creating something with our students that people in the STEM fields find amazing. And that provides not just opportunities for our students, but for our students to pass on this love of what they do, this love of the STEM fields on a much more global scale. So anyways, we're very excited. Lots happening with it. Any of the families who have not yet chosen to get involved in this, if you'd like to, there's time. We take members all year round, so we'd love to have you involved.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Lindbergh posted in the chat there that the Sisters in STEM website is just sistersinstem.net, all one word. And I just want to say, since my daughters have been involved in Cyber Patriot, it's been really neat because there's so many different facets of it and different things that, you know, pique various students' interests. At the end of the school year, when they were leading Zoom classes with 3rd grade students when we first went into lockdown, and I know they're still doing that now, students are still doing that now, but when we first went into lockdown, it was just so fun to see the response of the 3rd grade students that were so appreciative and, you know, made little cards for them. Thank you for teaching me how to be safe. Thank you for being a Cyber CIS hero. I mean, it was just really cute. So it is neat that we're having the opportunity to work with elementary schools and, you know, for students who are more interested in the competition, which is part of graduating with distinctions, that they participate in some type of competition. They have the opportunity to do Math League, they have the opportunity to do Science Olympiad, but now they also have the opportunity to do Cyber Patriot. And my girls went into it with 0 experience in programming or anything like that. And then they did the K-3 program at the end of the spring, and then participated in the week-long camp, which was, I believe, 20 hours of instruction. And I feel like they learned quite a bit. So don't feel like your student needs to be a computer programmer or something like that if they would like to get involved in a club and you think one of these initiatives will speak to them. So okay, I see that I forgot to mention that we have an upcoming fundraiser. So we've been doing one every month this year, and it's been fantastic. It's helped us do things that we've wanted to do for our teachers, like our teacher luncheon, and we purchased numerous air filters for some of our teachers in their classrooms. And it's been a nice little source of income for us to do little kind of pet projects that we really enjoy doing. So this month it will be at Jason's Deli, and it's January 20th. And then next month it will be Chipotle. So these again are always posted on our Facebook. The flyer will be posted on the Facebook. In addition, the information as well as the flyer will be sent out along with the minutes to all of the families that are part of the MSA Booster Club. And then Katie Foster, would you mind just giving us a quick treasure update?
Sure. Ashley actually touched on some of what I was going to cover, but let's see, our fund is currently at about 7,400, and like Ashley said, we love to do things for our community, for the teachers and for the students. We've done a teacher luncheon and a teacher breakfast, but one of the biggest things I want to highlight is the air purifiers that we have purchased with the help of 3 families that have also donated money, and Battelle Engineering offered to do a matching 1-for-1 up to 10 air purifiers. So we've actually now put 21 air purifiers in our teachers' classrooms, which obviously benefits the teachers and their students. I think it helps, you know, a lot of people feel a little more comfortable and a little more secure that, you know, in addition to what the district has done to keep our classrooms clean and upgraded the air filters, we also have these units in 21 of our classrooms. So big shout out to the 3 families and to Battelle Engineering for supporting that initiative. Yes, you know, our fundraiser nights help with that, but 21 air purifiers has brought us up to about $2,000. So we couldn't have done it without the help of these families. So thank you. And just, you know, quick reminder, another thing that really helps besides our monthly fundraiser nights is when you all connect your Amazon accounts and Fry's and all of those. Those are things that don't cost you anything, but we get these quarterly checks that really add up and help us to continue to provide these services for our teachers and staff. So thank you. And that's it. I'm keeping it short because I think people have questions. So thank you.
Ashley, I'm sorry. Can I mention one other thing? I promised one of our teachers that I'd do this. If I can take 1 second. For the families that might have an interest in this, Mr. Crows, our social studies teacher, has received permission from the district to run a class next year on the Holocaust. Personally, I find this just an amazing and wonderful thing that the district is doing, particularly in these times. I'd encourage any family that feels that this might be something their students would be interested in to look into that. He won't be able to hold the class unless he has a certain number of students. I forget what the number is now, but this is 3 or 4 years in the works, as I understand it, to allow this to happen. So if you have the opportunity, you might want to look into that as one of your kids' electives.
Thank you, Lisa, for mentioning that. And then just jumping back real quick, Ms. Lindberg just posted. So thank you for that clarification, Ms. Lindberg. So the air purifiers were not just given to MSA teachers. The whole staff was asked who was interested in getting one in their classroom, and we provided an air purifier to every teacher who had asked for one. So, and then so an email just came out saying that we need to make the course selections, or that our students need to make the course selections for next year. And I believe that deadline is coming up pretty quickly. So Mr. Milligan, would you mind speaking to that and talking a little bit about the process, and where people can go if they have questions about you know, if their student has questions about if they're graduating, if they want to graduate with distinctions, how do they figure out what classes they need to sign up for?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you. So obviously, without being in person, that created some new kind of innovative ways to get the information out to everybody. And really, I think it'll be a positive, because more information is getting to parents to help them make their kids make those decisions. And so you should have received. I apologize. Apparently, it went in Spanish at first, but we got out correctly after. That should have all of the information that you need. There's links on there, presentation that the counselor did, as well as the sheets have all of the courses that are available for them to select. And then there's an online form that you'll go on. If you do end up, make a mistake or your mind, certainly can go on and do one like the most recent one, but the deadline is the 1st of January. And we'll follow up if we didn't receive one from a child. And if you have any questions about, what does you take, what kind of that, reach out to your counselor. Number one, if it does do with your MSA plan, especially going there, I know Mr. Brandt is meeting with those students as they go their distinction plan. Communicate with him, and then definitely be talking to teachers. Encourage your kids to talk to their teachers. But hey, what do you think that I should take? What they get to know the kids really well throughout the year, and have a good and can talk them through kind of the pros and cons of different classes. They're pretty familiar with their curriculum in the area. Obviously, their science teachers, have a good gauge as to their science courses for, and the English teachers, obviously, with the English, etc. So
thank you. So Mr. Milligan, your audio is not great. It's really going in and out. So let me just try to restate. So the email came out. There was 2 emails. One came out in Spanish, and then there was a follow-up. So make sure you're looking at both. And there are links in there for grade level of where you can select your grade level, and then it kind of walks you through things. But if you have specific questions as to Math and Science Academy requirements or anything like that, speak to your teacher. Is that correct?
Well, for the Math and Science Academy stuff, obviously that would go through, Chris, but in terms of individual, recommendations too, I would definitely encourage them to talk to their teachers for that specific content. So, ask their science teacher about the future science classes, English about English, etc.
Okay. And that Holocaust class sounds incredible. I know Mr. Crows was one of my girls' favorite teachers, and I believe he was even honored at the Holocaust Museum.
Yeah, he's a fellow. Yep.
Yeah, that's really impressive. So, question about that class. So, is that an honors class, and is that a class that would be available to students to count for some other type of history class, or is it if they have an elective period available, or how does that work?
So, whoever will be simply so it won't fulfill any specific grad requirements other than elective, but it is not, but that doesn't sway things. Most people are going to the unweighted GPA and those sorts of things as it is, so it won't hurt any of those types of fees.
Okay, so just to reiterate, sorry, since your audio is not great. So
I apologize.
It's okay. So it's an elective, and it's not honors, but a lot of colleges are looking at unweighted GPAs anyway, and I'm sure it will be completely incredible. So that's very exciting that we have that class. Does anybody have any questions about?
Yes. Ashley, just so you know, I will be meeting through Zoom with all of the juniors to go over their plan of study before they have to turn in their course selection. So each junior has a program of study where they've selected the courses that they need for the academy, and then I check with them. So I have 10-minute Zooms with every single one of our distinction candidates that are juniors that will occur Thursday and Tuesday of next week. So if you want to talk with your student about their program of study, because sometimes the kids come in and say, I've changed my mind, I want to do something different, we allow them to do that. As long as it's an approved STEM course, we allow them to do that. So I will be meeting with all of the students that are on the distinction track. And we are in the process, Mr. Miller is in the process of getting all of the sophomores to sign up. And they should be signed up by the end of the week, and then we will meet with them also.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. And it looks like January 21st is the course selection deadline. So, see, there's one more thing. Okay. And unless anyone else has questions about course selection, I think we can move on to the current return to learn plan. I know Arizona is not in the best situation right now. And so I don't know how that's going to affect the plan of returning to in-person on January 19th. So I'm not really sure who to turn it over to, but I know I'm not the one who should be addressing it. So would one of our board members or would one of our administrators like to speak a little bit to what things are going to look like over the next several weeks?
I think it's probably appropriate for Dr. Menzel, if
Okay,
you're comfortable kind of giving a summary of where we're at.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. So at our last governing board meeting on January 8th, the governing board moved the middle school return to learn in person to January 19th at the same time that high school is planning to come back. We're still monitoring the data. As you know, the community spread is still significant. One of the commitments that we've made, we started in the fall and are continuing into this semester, is to do a school by school analysis. In our conversations with Dr. Sonnenschein at the health department, it's been very clear that if we're able to keep a school building open and manage the spread of COVID within the building so that there's not spread, then we can continue with in-person instruction. However, if there's evidence of spread, and Dr. Sonnenschein often will use the term worrisome spread. So one case or two cases isn't worrisome spread, but if you have evidence of spread in the building, then there's a concern. She actually said to me just before our governing board meeting that she's more confident in bringing back elementary and middle school students, that while it's acceptable to proceed in bringing high school students back, it's something we want to monitor carefully, because high school age kids spread COVID at a same or similar rate as adults. And so that's where we're going to come back in person. We'll be monitoring the data carefully. We want to make sure that high school is a safe and healthy place for our staff and students. And then things will go from there. The other good news is that we'll begin COVID vaccinations for our staff in a partnership with Honor Health starting on January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And so we'll be on our way to ensuring that our staff who want it will have access to the vaccine if they've not signed up already through the county. Happy to answer any questions, but that's our plan at the moment, and I'm reluctant to project out any further than what we can see, because things change pretty quickly in this environment.
Dr. Menzel, quick question for you, and thank you so much for everything you all are doing in this incredibly complicated time. I've had a couple of teachers approach me to ask if they already were signed up outside of the district, if they're earlier than what the district can provide, whether they are supposed to go ahead and take their earlier slots. I told them if it were me, I would say absolutely get the thing early, but it seemed like they were a little confused. I'm wondering if that's just, who I talk with, or if you've had any of that uncertainty with the staff, and whether we
We did try to send out notice today. I haven't looked to see. I thought it was in the email, but I haven't confirmed, to indicate that if you sign up for an earlier slot, just let us know, because that frees up other slots if we were to max out. The other thing that I would note, just for people who sign up early, in some cases, getting that second dose within the 21 days is a little bit more challenging. What some people in 1A have found is that the follow-up appointments have been filled. If you do it through the arrangement we have with Honor Health, they automatically schedule you 3 weeks out for the very same appointment time, so that you don't have to go back online again and remember to do it 21 days later.
Thank you. That clarifies. Thanks so much.
Dr. Menzel, thank you for, first of all your leadership through this. This has been an impossible situation. I too actually am an employee in addition to a parent. And one of the things that I believe employees got was a notice, and parents would be interested in this too, saying that you were going to discuss requiring employees to get vaccinated. Is that something that is on the table?
So the governing board requested and received legal guidance with respect to whether or not it was possible to do so. At the present time, it is not on the agenda for action, but we believe it's important to kind of look at all of the options and ask the question. So we did receive legal guidance with respect to what was possible and the pros and cons.
Is it possible? I have family in New York, and they're one of the things their public schools has done is they've required teachers and students to provide test results before they return. Is that something? I haven't really heard that coming up in any of the meetings.
We also got legal counsel in executive session on that topic as well. I can't talk about what was discussed in executive session, but what I can share is that I did have a separate conversation with Dr. Sonnenschein on the topic of mandatory testing, and public health doesn't recommend it for a couple of reasons that I think are important. One, it's a point in time test. And given the incubation period for COVID is 2 to 14 days, you could get a negative test and still be positive and shedding virus. And you can get a positive test if you've had COVID, even though you're not shedding virus. So while there's a lot to be said for the idea of the testing, making a condition of return when you know that those are some of the other issues is why the health department hasn't recommended it, coupled with an equity question. There's a cost associated with getting the test. Not all of our students have access or the resources to be able to do so. So it's those kinds of things, and talking with the health department that kind of make it like maybe it doesn't make sense to proceed, although we have asked the question, because I think it'd make a lot of people feel a lot more comfortable.
Other questions?
I have a question. So when I'm Swati, and thank you to all the administration and staff for doing this for our students. So my question is, when students return on 19th, the schedule will be like what they have online now, to just 3 periods, or they would have the entire school and all the classes and lunch break? How would it be?
That's a good question. So on the 19th, when students come back, it'll be the schedule that they have now. The full schedule really isn't possible until the metrics really get back to a much better place. And part of the reason why we have the 2 third-day schedule and every other day with the classes is in order to avoid having lunch on campus. Public health officials were really clear. They said if there's any way you can maintain that schedule and not have lunch on campus, you're going to do a lot to ensure you don't have spread of COVID on your campus. So we initially, when we were doing our planning for second semester, we built it for the 6-period day because we knew that a lot of people wanted that. But we modified our plans based on guidance from public health that if you really want to mitigate the risk of spread, stick with your current schedule, When the community spread is better, then we can look at returning to a 6-period day.
Thank you. Thank you. And then just a point of clarification as well. So basically what will happen if we do end up in a situation where the students aren't able to come to school because of an outbreak, it will be a much easier flow for them to just do class at home, because there are cameras in the classrooms. They'll be on the same schedule. Nothing will change. They'll be at the same place with the teacher and the same lesson. I know that that's a big change from last semester with the EDL being in the afternoon, and the on-campus kids being in the morning. So I think that'll make things just a lot easier for families and a lot less confusing.
That is definitely our hope, and so we'll see how it works out in practice. But with the cameras and everyone being on an aligned schedule, it makes that movement from remote to in person a bit more seamless.
Thank you.
We all talk every month. I'm talking to the families here on this one, but we all have been talking about how this thing goes every time we do these town halls. I want to reinforce to all of the parents on here that I really do feel this is our responsibility to manage as parents. It's really hard for our kids. It's very hard for them not to socialize, but the consequences of us allowing them to do some things that really they need to not do right now are profound. So I would just ask all of you to do everything you can to take the high road. Just another couple months. I don't want to be hearing about another friend that's terribly ill. I don't want to hear about somebody else dying. And I'm sure none of the rest of you do. So anything we can do as adults to help our kids to bridge this time till the vaccines, let's try and do that. Let's be the adults. Let's be the ones that help support each other and our staff. Okay, this is important.
Thank you, Lisa. That's a very important point. Thank you very much. Couple things here in the chat. When will we know for sure if we're going back to person on the 19th? The parent needs to know for planning purposes. It sounds like we are planning to go back on the 19th, but in this day and age, nothing can be said with 100% certainty, correct?
Well, that is correct. We plan to go on the 19th. It would be something pretty significant that would modify that because of where we are, and we do not have a governing board meeting scheduled. And given what I've seen in Arizona, I don't expect the governor will issue an executive order before then, stopping us from going back. So it's really, I would plan to come back and ask our families, not unlike we did before, if you have potentially been exposed, if you're sick, don't come to school on the 19th, right? You've got a remote learning option. So we really need everyone to participate. To Lisa's point, it's all of us working together that will allow us to be able to have our kids come back to school safely.
And let me ask, what percentage of families at SUSD high schools, or even at Saguaro, if we know that, that would be even more pertinent information for me. What percentage are choosing to come back in person on the 19th?
I don't know Saguaro specifically. District-wide, it's 85-15. 85% indicated they wanted in person. Now, there's been, over the last few weeks, some shift. I don't know that it's a full 5% shift, but there have been some families moving from in person back to online. Maybe Principal Oxiger knows what the percent is at Saguaro.
So we've had some shifts as well, Dr. Menzel. It is a little, I know we're all tired of hearing fluid by nature, but I think we were at approximately about the same. We're in between the 80 to the 85% range. We were at, I believe 82. It really does, it's fluid. We are asking for those parents though to stick to the plan best possible that they do choose though, because for the social distancing, we have created the best possible solution for our classrooms to be socially distanced. And I would like to say thank you to Lisa, because it is us all adults that are making these choices. And I just hate to see our kids that are the ones that are sometimes paying it. Sorry for me, I feel like paying the price somewhat for us adults and the decisions that a lot of us are making. And our kids, they need us so much, and they need to be in school, and they need us a lot. And so thank you, Lisa, for your leadership and speaking out tonight and saying and advocating for our kids that they need all of us adults to be the adults and say, no, you shouldn't be doing that. We all need to be really strong right now to be sure that our kids can be in school. It's frustrating seeing adults, you know, doing certain things, and then our kids are having some things taken away from them. Our kids are hurting right now, and they need us more than ever, and we just all want to be there for them. So thank you, Lisa, for taking a stand and being strong and saying to everyone that we are all in this together, and we need to be really strong and be there for our kids and guide them right now. This has gone on a lot longer than I thought it would, and a lot of our kids thought it would, and they're hitting a point where they need us so much, and they need our consistency, and all of us being strong and guiding them and saying, you shouldn't be doing that, you need to be wearing your mask, you know, going to a party, absolutely not. Any parents having a party, please do not. That's what we all as adults need to be doing, so we can all be back where our kids need to be, is with their teachers and schools. So thank you, Lisa, I appreciate that. It's sometimes not the easiest stance to take, but it's the right stance, and I appreciate that.
I think all of us, I mean, you know, Kaylee gets really depressed. She gets really lonely. It is very hard to look her in the eyes and tell her, no, you cannot go visit with your alum friends, even though you're here in town. You know, but when we have those discussions and she gets, I'm sure every one of us faces this, every parent here faces this. I just ask her, I say, would you want the alternative? Do you want to look back and know that you contracted this, and in some way, shape, or form, it went to someone in the family, and you have to know that you passed it to someone and they passed away? Is it worth that trade-off? And the answer is obviously no. But that's the stakes that we're at right now. And so we all need to help our kids to recognize how serious this is, and that it's just a little more time. It's just a few more months. And I'm sorry, I will stop, but I just ask everyone to do what they can. It's so important right now. And we really appreciate that everybody is doing everything they can. So.
Thank you, Lisa, for making that point. I know you and I talk a lot about this, but I really appreciate you sharing that with everyone. And I just want to make one clarification. I mean, I feel like I understand it, but I just want to kind of drive the point home that as much as it is important for us to make the decision for the whole semester, like, you know, if you choose to send your student back in person, and then you do something, or your child has some type of exposure, or something is risky, or you have the need to travel or something, and then they have to go online, the school will still consider you an in-person school and work with you. It's not like, oh gosh, you have to go online for 2 weeks. Well, now you're an online student, right?
Yeah, absolutely not. So we're here for you. We're all a family. Absolutely. So no.
That's what I figured. I just didn't want anybody to be getting the impression that, you know, you're either online or you're at home, because I don't want to end up in this situation where people feel discouraged from being honest about, well, something kind of happened and maybe I shouldn't go to school for 2 weeks. So, I think that's one of the huge advantages to this model, that that we're trying. So my son goes to a private school and they've done this the whole semester and it's been really great. The cameras in the classrooms, the you know, it's like you said, it makes it very fluid. The learning is very fluid, and people need to stay, when people need to stay home, they stay home, and when they can come back, they come back. So I think it's good.
Katie Foster, did you have a question?
I ended up, I just went ahead and spoke. So no, I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
I was wondering.
There's a question about the quarantine period change from 14 to 10 days in line with the CDC, the school quarantine.
That is the case. Yes, we're following CDC recommendations.
Okay, do we have any more questions? I want to thank Dr. Menzel and the whole board and all the parents that are here and our administrators that are here and our teachers and the fellow Booster Club members for all being here. It's definitely been a challenging year. It's nice to be part of this community where, you know, we can kind of lean on each other. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.